I welcome all my brothers and sisters today in this spiritual gathering, and we lighten ourselves with the thought of Sri Murti ji, who is our supreme guide. Today we will discuss about God's wish. God's wish. So here there are many people who say that I believe in God, and there are also people who say they do not believe in God. So I want to say that what does it mean to believe in God, and why one should believe in God? The first thing is that God here means supreme progenitor, supreme controller, and supreme guide. He is supreme in every respect. And the existence of supreme is established by one fact, that we always yearn for more and more. We are not satisfied by our limited attainment, limited acquisition, limited knowledge, limited happiness. We want unlimited. And it is a natural truth. It is a normal truth. It is a universal truth that we have the yearning, longing for something which exists. We do not long for something which does not exist. Just like we feel thirst, so there is a water to quench thirst. We feel hunger, then there is a food to satisfy hunger. Similarly, this quest for infinite, this quest for limitlessness is the greatest proof that there is an infinite entity, there is an eternal and indivisible entity which is all pervading, which is omniscient, and which is all powerful. So this God does not mean here that some deity or somebody in a sky or above a sky in different levels of height. Here God means infinite, one which is infinite, which is eternal, which is omniscient and all-powerful. Secondly, God's existence is also proved by one factor, that everything has a cause, and this cause results into effect. Without a cause, there is no effect. The science also accepts this truth. So now the final cause, when we go on analyzing cause and effect, so the final cause is uncausal. It has no cause. Because the moment it has cause, the moment there is a cause of something, it is an indication that it is a finite object. So the nominal cause, the ultimate cause, is uncausal. It has no cause. It is self-born. It is self-existent. And the third proof of God's existence, and supreme power's existence, is that this world which we find is so beautifully created that when a person goes to enjoy natural scene, he lost there. She lost there. And people visit different tourist places only to enjoy the beauty of nature. So this, if there is no mind, no artistic mind, aesthetic mind to create such a beautiful natural scene, this creation would not have been possible. So it shows that behind the creation of this universe, there is a creator who has supreme aesthetic taste. He has created rivers, forests, and various types of natural scenes and sceneries. When we go there and when we observe those scenes, we are totally lost in the imposing beauty of that heavenly scenery. So this is also a great proof that there is a supreme artist, there is a supreme intelligence which has created this world, which is so beautiful, so infatuating, so attractive, so much compelling that we always want to visit that place again and again. And lastly, I will say that for any existence, we see that there is a witnessing entity. Like as a thief goes to the court and he tells the court that he has not stolen anything and he has falsely implicated. So now this falsely implicated, people do not know, there is no other evidence. There are some suggestive evidence, but there is no concrete evidence, and he is acquitted by the court. In the eyes of the court, in the eyes of the law, he is an innocent person. But the thief knows that he has stolen and he has told a lie to the court. This knows it, that I know that I have stolen, and here in the court I am telling lie. So this knower is the witnessing entity, which exists in every I can say entity. Wherever there is existence, there is a knower. So the knower of the witnessing entity of the whole creation, we call God, we call the supreme entity, we call supreme consciousness, we call Param Brahma, we call Bhagwan, Ishwar, Khuda, Allah, God, so many names are given. But the fact is, he is the supreme entity, and because of his presence, the other things are existing. So I want to say that there is a supreme entity whom we popularly call God. He has created this universe. His wish is this creation. His psycho-internal projection is the universal, the manifestation of the universe. It is a psychic activity and internal activity, since there is nothing outside God. So, if we want to do anything which is to succeed, which is to materialize, then God's will is a prerequisite. Without support of God's will, that thing can never be successful. And God's will is expressed in the two ways. One is which is called Sanchara and Prati Sanchara. From the one infinite, the creation is divided into innumerable entities. This from one to many, from consciousness to inert to the matter, is called Sanchara. And the other movement from matter towards consciousness, like unicellular existence, plants, birds, beasts, and human beings. This the other side of the evolution. This is called Pratisanchara. So this through Sanchara and Pratisanchara, God's will is being manifested. And the scientists or technicians, they always try to know how the nature, how the Prakriti, how the creation is functioning. Just like you see Newton, who saw an apple is falling from the tree. Now this event was taking place. But what was the law, what was the system which is active behind the falling of the apple? He did not know. And then after lot of thinking, lot of research, he was able to find out the law of gravitation. This law of gravitation was not the creation of Newton. He only discovered it. He came to know it after seeing this phenomenon of apple falling from the tree. So the scientists or engineers, technicians, the research scholars, they try only to know what is the law, what is the system made by God. They do not discover something which is of their own origin. They discover what is already made by God. God has given the quality of fertility in the soil, and it has given the quality of germination, sprouting in a seed. So when a seed is sown in a fertile land, it germinates. So this all phenomena is the creation of God. Human beings have been able to know that when we sow seed in a fertile land, then it sprouts and there is flowers and fruits from that plant. So that means that our capacity, our capability is not creating something new. Our capability is confined only in knowing what God has already meant. And if we err somewhere, then that activity comes to a standstill. You know, recently, a year ago, a satellite was sent to Moon. It had to land at a distant point. But that satellite, it maintained its contact with the Earth till 2 kilometers when it was away from the Moon. But when it was 2 kilometers away from the Moon, it lost contact with the Earth and it fell down. So this means till that 2 kilometers before the Moon, it was functioning according to God's will. It was according to God's system, God's arrangement, and so there was no problem. But then there must be some defect somewhere which resulted into its falling at a different place and losing contact with the Earth. So the scientists are now trying to know where was the defect. They will find out the defect, they will correct it, and they will be able to land the satellite on the Moon in their next effort. So our capacity, our capability only in knowing the laws made by God, the system made by God. We do not create anything new, anything original. We can make chemical compound, we can make physical mixture, but we cannot create element. That is a fact. Elements are the creation of the Supreme Entity, Supreme Consciousness. So one thing is, we know from our scientific efforts the will of God by our research in laboratory or research in our mental faculty. We try to understand what is the system made by God in this universal order. This is the this knowledge comes to us after study, after so much thinking, after failures, failures, and success, and finally we arrive at a conclusion. So scientific truth is available by experiment, observation, and inference. Now, when we humans, when we try to achieve something, we find that sometimes we are able to achieve and sometimes we are not able to achieve. So here, suppose somebody stood first in the competition examination, or in any competition, a particular person stood first. So this only implies that God's will was also that a particular person should become first in the competition, and this person also will that I should come first in my effort in this competition. So both the wishes coincided, and then he was able to become first. So now the problem is that we do not know what is God's will, and we try to achieve success. So how to see God's will? How to know what is the will of the God? That is a very important factor. So there are certain criteria which make us aware that this is God's will or this is not God's will. Like sometimes, I go on journey, and my ticket is in waiting list. And when it is confirmed, I say, oh, it was God's will, it was God's grace. So now the question is, in case the ticket is not confirmed, I should think that it was not God's grace, or why God did like that. So here the matter is that if I succeed somewhere, that is also God's will, because He wanted me to succeed. But when I did not succeed, in that situation also, it was the will of the God. But if I think why God did like this, if I feel disappointment, if I feel depression, if I feel despair, this means I have not been able to connect myself with God's will. When I feel equanimity, equipoise, equilibrium of mind in all the activities of life, then it can be said that I am working according to God's will. But in one situation, I am inspired. In another situation, I become depressed. So why should I become depressed? When it is God's will, and I want to work according to God's will, then everything must appear to us as God's will, either failure or success. In both the situation, if the mind is in equilibrium, if there is equanimity, then I can say that I am working according to God's will. But if my spirit is affected, if my mental balance is affected, it means I am somewhere being disconnected from God. You see, there was a situation when I had to face the displeasure of the then government, and I was arrested. And the police and CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, was torturing me severely, physically. They even had so much beaten me that my teeth were broken, and I developed many problems. in that situation, I told Lord Tarak Brahma, my revered spiritual master Seshan Murti ji, that come what may, but I will not surrender. And I will always go on fighting with the evil forces. And I want only one assurance from you, that even if at certain stage my mind becomes weak, you please hold me even at that stage, so that my moral is not broken and I stand firm when the assault is relentlessly coming from the evil forces. And then I also told mentally that I want a proof that you have assured me that you will not allow my mind to break its balance at any stage of tortures by the CBI. And after a few minutes, the police personnel, they were, it was the morning hours, and they had put their radio on, and a song was going on, that Darshan do Ghanshyam Nath, Meri Akhiya Pyasi Re, द्वार दया का जब तू खोले, पंचम सुर में गूंगा बोले, अंधा निरीखे लंगड़ा चलकर पहुंचे काशी रे. This was the song, that Lord, when you open your door of grace, then the blind can see, the lame can scale biggest of mountains, and a spiritualist person, a dumb person can speak. So when this, it was a suggestive environment, it was suggestive song, and then I felt that Lord had heard my prayer, and I will certainly stand the tortures of CBI. And I came out victorious from the cell of CBI torture place. So here I say that I did not know what is the will of the God, but one thing I expressed, that I will not surrender before the evil forces. And I, with a very, I can say, pious, pure, sentient mind, I prayed to him that unless you hold me, it is possible that my mind may become weak. So in such hours, you give me strength, give me courage, so that I can stand strongly. And it happened accordingly. So here the point is that when we want to know God's will, then we have to see that what are the spiritual injunctions that have been given by different great men in different times. Because as I have told you earlier, that God's will is on one side expressed through Sanchara and Prati Sanchara. And the other way, God's will is expressed by what medium? God is omnipresent. But when he takes human form at critical juncture in society, critical juncture in history of mankind, then from that human structure, whatever guidance is given, it is the divine guidance. And when we follow that guidance, then we become successful, we become victorious. We can take the example of Guru Gobind Singh or Shivaji. They were great warriors, but at the same time, they were also established in God-centered psychology. And they won this war of righteousness. They were able to achieve the goal for which they had started fight, and they came out victorious. So when we try to work according to the directions of such spiritually elevated soul, then our victory is also assured. And in one word, I can say that where there is dharma, where there is righteousness, there is victory. And Sri Krishna, who came 3,000 years, 500 years ago, he had said that he came to rescue the dharma from the clutches of the adharmic people. He came here to establish righteousness. So he gave a great value, a great guidance that one has to obey dharma. The path of dharma alone is the path of proper movement, correct movement. And since dharma is passing through the phase of decline, therefore he has come to re-establish it, to put it at the proper place. And he was able to do it because in the fight between Kaurava and Pandavas, he was instrumental in the victory of Pandavas. And finally, he also made Yudhishthira the king of Hastinapur Indraprasth, this Bharatvarsha. So the Krishna said that when you have to decide what to do, then you should see what are the injunctions of dharma. And he said many things in his teachings of Gita, what a person ought to do, like Sukha Dukhe Shame Kripa Labha Labho Jaya Jayo, or Devi Esha Gunmai Mama Maya Durateya. So many teachings he has given. And when we follow those teachings, when we move on the path of those teachings, our victory is guaranteed, because it is coming from the mouth of Sri Krishna, one Mahasambhuti, the divine entity. So we have the two ways to ascertain God's will. One is Sanchara and Pratisanchara, which is done by our material scientists. And another is the words of Mahasambhuti. So when we read their teachings, and when we try to contemplate it, try to go deeper into the instructions, and when we materialize those teachings in life, then our success, our progress is quite certain. So that's why the best way to ascertain the God's will is to look to the teachings of Shiva, Krishna, and Sri Sri Anandamurti ji. Just as Shiva said that Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. Dharma means it is the power of God. God manifests through Dharma. So when we follow the path of Dharma, we are moving according to the will of the God, will of the Supreme Entity. And so our failure will be converted into our success. And that's why Shiva said, Dharma Rakshati Rakshita. When you try to protect Dharma, Dharma will protect you. Sri Krishna said that in order to protect Dharma, I come again and again. Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Here also he says, Jada Jada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijami. I am born to protect the dignity of the glory of Dharma. And Sri Sri Anandamurti ji says that Jato Dharma Tato Ishta, Jato Ishta Tato Jaya. That where there is Dharma, there is Ishta, means the guide, supreme guide, Tarak Brahma Mahasambhuti. And where there is Mahasambhuti, there is victory. So the success or victory depends upon the will of the God. And the will of the God is expressed through Sanchara, Pratisanchara, as well as through the mouth of the divine mouth of Mahasamiti. So that's why there are certain things we have to keep in mind in order to, I can say, in order to feel firm that it is the will of the God. So just as I have told you just now that Shiva, Krishna, as well as Anandamurti has laid great stress on following dharma, and they have given blessings that those who follow dharma, they will be successful in their endeavor. So when we try to understand their will of these three Mahasambhutis, then we should know what actually dharma really implies. So Sri Anandamurti ji has very clearly said that how you can know that you are following the path of dharma. The first point he said, the constant expansion of mind. So this means when we are to decide whether it is the will of the God or not, we have to see that it must not lead to narrowness. It must not lead to blind faith. It must not lead to the contraction of mind. It must lead to expansion. And when there is expansion, when it grows in magnitude, it becomes, universal. Then we can say that we are working according to God's will. Similarly, the flow of mind. A person uses mosquito net to protect himself from mosquito so that he can meditate nicely. And another person uses mosquito net to enjoy good sleep. So the intentions are different. Actions are same, but intentions are different. When the intention is to elevate spiritually, there the same action of using mosquito net becomes something which we can say, we can utilize it as the blessing of the Lord. We will experience that, oh, God is blessing me through this mosquito net. My sadhana, my dhyana is becoming very nice. But if one utilizes it for sleeping and for physical comfort, then the mind is contracted. Mind is not elevated. So the flow of mind should be in his flow, in the cosmic flow, in the flow of the Supreme Entity. So that is another yardstick to ascertain, to be sure whether I am working according to his will or not. If my efforts become instrumental in arousing greater devotion, greater love for the Supreme, then it is, I can say, that a dharmic life. It is following the path of dharma. And third is selfless service. That when we see a suffering person, a deprived person, an unprivileged person, and we help him or her so that he can be free from the troubles he is facing, then also we are working according to his will. So these three are the basic factors in determining whether we are following his will or not. And that's why in our every action, we must be very certain that these three things are not lost sight of. And when we are totally in tune with these three factors, then our mind is totally connected with God. We work according to his will, and we never fail to achieve our goal. And you see, Shiva or Krishna or Anandamurti ji, I never found them being defeated. Whatever the adverse circumstances, but they always got victory. So They got victory because they had the supreme power, they had the supreme authority. So naturally, when we try to keep our mind parallel with their flow, with their thinking, with their instructions, then our progress, our prosperity, and our elevation is 100% assured. So that's why I have to say a few points we have to follow. If you follow it sincerely, then I think we can be sure that we are following God's will. The first thing is that once Sri Murthy ji in his lecture said that when we go to see the actions of different characters in a circus, so a magician also comes there, and the magician showed the magic, such as that there is an empty box, and when he opens the empty box, then some parrots come out of it. There was no parrot before, but those parrots come out of it. Similarly, a man is standing and he uses sword to kill him, cut him, and the sword passes through him, but he is unaffected. He is not killed. His body is not destroyed by the sword. So these tricks, these magic, we see and we feel overwhelmed how he has been able to do it. So Sri Anmurti said that we become surprised after seeing such types of feat in the circus. But those who are in the party of the magician, those who are living with him, those spirits, they know that these are certain tricks. They are not the reality, they are illusion. But people, because they are under the influence of that illusion, that's why they take it as fact. So he says that if you want to know the secrets of the magic, then join the party of the magician. So here the implication is, if you want to know really what God wants, what is the will of the God, so that we can keep ourselves prepared in advance and not move on the path of unrighteousness, then we have to become totally a God-centered personality. In our mind should always be one thought that I am existing to satisfy the will of the God. I am here for the pleasure of the God. The vow to please Param Purusha is the real love for him. It is the real devotion for him. So this vow should always be strong in our mind, that we want to please you, Lord. We want to satisfy you. We want that you should be always happy by my action. So naturally, the Supreme Lord, by creating such circumstances, give us proper guidance, and we have the resources as well as the technique how to move ahead and we become successful. So the first point is that we should join the party of the magician. That means we must always have God-centered psychology. The second point is that when we want to know the God's will, then we must have abiding commitment for dharma. We, in whatever the situation, but our mind should never deviate from the path of dharma. And this is a fact that many opposition will come, many adversities will come. But if we are holding strongly to dharma, then God will make us victorious. And the third point is, to a certain God's will, that people say that God always wants us to be successful, then why there is failure? So you see, if there is a failure, just as I told you about the satellite, moon satellite, if there is a failure, so behind this failure also, there is some good will, some good desire of God. He wants to give us more knowledge. He wants to give us more welfare. And because of that, He has created that situation. That's why a person always keeps the mental balance intact in every situation. And Rabindranath Tagore used to say that सुधार से भाषाओ जखन धन्य हरि आ दुख दिए कादाओ जखन धन्य हरि. That Lord, when I am in a very happy situation, it is all your grace, Lord. It is all your great will that you have kept me in a very happy situation. But if I have also to undergo suffering, when I am in the fire of worldly problems and all sorts of difficulties, then also, Lord, it is your grace. It is your affection, it is your blessing for me, because through these sufferings also, you want to give me some lesson, some teaching, some way for my welfare. So in both these situations, a person visualizes the greatness of the God, and he thinks that God has done it for his goodness, for his greatness. And another thing is that, as Sri Shyamurti says, that subjective approach through objective adjustment. That this life, is full of various types of situations, and some situations are favorable, some are unfavorable. But when we keep our mind attached with God, then we are always full of inspiration. There is no despair. Our spirit is never dampened. This is a very great quality, that we are working according to God's will. He always inspires us. He always motivates us. Then no situation is able to break the high spirits of mind. So that's why the approach is subjective. Means mind should be always attached with him, and adjustment is objective. Means that we have to see, if a person gets less marks in the examination, he has to see in which subject he has not prepared well, which questions he was not able to answer, and then prepare fresh and get success in the next examination. So that's for this purpose, Sri Shyamurti has also given a very beautiful system, RDS, review, defect, solution. Review, if there is any failure, or even if there is a success, there should be review of it. And a defect is to be found if there was any shortcoming. I was successful, but I could have been still better successful, more successful. Or if I failed, what were the reasons which caused failure? And after detecting all those weak points, all those shortcomings, I come to the solution. This finding defect should not be for discrediting anybody, for just weeping on the fate that it was this time and so it happened like this. No, it has come to encourage us, to always give us a great impetus to move forward. And Sri Shyamurti says that no difficulty is greater than your ability to solve it. So that's why failure or adverse circumstances, they come as a challenge we should accept it. We should prove our bravery, our manliness by piercing through the mountains of obstacles, the heap of obstacles, and reach our goal. Therefore, it says solution. We have to go to the solution, not just thinking that, oh, what happened? I am such a great trouble. Why God is not taking my care? This type of complaint and grievance, it is an indication, it is a proof, it is an index, a symbol that we are not having real trust in God. We do not really believe in God. If we believe in God, if we believe in the Supreme, we should know that nothing happens without His will. Not a blade of grass can move without His will. But then, when we face adversities, then also He is there to help our intelligence, to help our courage, to help our insight, to get way, to move forward. So the adversities should never be the cause of concern. They should never be the cause of our frustration. It should always be a means of inspiration for us to move forward. So that's why these 4 points, if we translate into action, then we will be always in the flow of God's will. We will always go forward. We'll always feel enthusiasm and spirit, great high spirit, and finally we'll be able to attain our goal. So now here I want to conclude saying that we should always adhere to the teachings of Mahashambhuti and never feel frustrated or disappointed in any situation. The situations come only to bring best from within our personality, our potentialities. Our future is very bright. That we are working for the pleasure of God. When there is a growth to please Him, then only success will be our destiny. We are always, destined to get victory, and our life will be full of glories and happiness in future. So I conclude here, and I request my brothers and sisters, if they have any query about God's will and our effort to ascertain it, I would like to hear from them and reply it. Namaskar. Please ask if you have any question.
Namaskar, Acharya ji. I'm Nidhi this side. The session was very good. And it's really, you explained very well, and a lot of my doubts are cleared through this session. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible to Acharya ji?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, Acharya ji, can you hear me?
जी अच्छा आवाज आ रही है दीदी.
Okay, ठीक है. So, Acharya ji, my question is that you said that you have also given some, explanation of dharma, how we can determine that we are on the path of dharma. You have explained those 4 points. So, just wanted to, in more clear way, like nowadays, the meaning of dharma is totally Detroit. People take it in a very different way. If we talk about what is your dharma, my dharma is Hindu, your dharma is Muslim, your dharma is that and this. How this dharma is different from the dharma definition that you have given. Just if you can just differentiate some points, so it will be easy, more clear to viewers that, okay, this is what it is. If you could please.
I could not hear. Yeah, what is the problem? I was hearing nicely and why you are disturbing?
Acharya ji, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. You see the difference is, I have already made it clear that the dharma has three basic qualities. When I say dharma, it is which leads to expansion, which brings our mind in tune with the cosmic entity, and which creates a selfless love for suffering humanity. These three are the basic points of dharma. And those who today use dharma like Hindu dharma or Islam dharma or Buddha dharma or Jain dharma, so I prefer to call it madhab and not dharma. Or I can also say sampradaya, not dharma, because dharma is not true. Just like the dharma of fire is to burn, dharma of water is to drink. Similarly, I mean, it does not change. It is universal quality. Similarly, the dharma of human beings has these three things. When they practice a dharma sadhana, when they move on the path of dharma, then there is expansion of mind. They feel whole universe is theirs. They are the global citizens. They always think for the welfare of all. There is a spirit of accommodation. There is no aversion, no hatred for, no intolerance for anybody. And they always yearn to serve the suffering people. They are always overwhelmed by seeing the suffering of anybody. So these three qualities are very important. If they are there, then it is real dharma, mano dharma, or bhagavad dharma. And in this type of thinking with the present people do, there we find so much intolerance, so much hatred, so much distance, so much aversion, that it creates division in humanity. And dharma makes the humanity one. So that's why there is a basic difference between the use of dharma today and the dharma which was taught by Shiva, Krishna, and Sri Sri Anandamurti.
Thank you, Acharya ji. It's very clear now. Thank you very much.
Anybody else who has any question?
I would request operator if there is any question raised by viewers in Shri Shri Anand Murti Ji Vision, because we have the viewers, those who are watching us through Facebook page. So if there is any question raised there, you can ask here, because they cannot ask in the meeting, through meeting. They can just write it.
So they can write in the chat box.
Not here, Acharya ji. It can be, I mean, they can write it in the Facebook page. So I don't know if operator is looking at that right now. So anybody has any question? It's already 9:30 now. We are, I mean, at the time now closing the session. So anybody who is there in the meeting can ask any question if they have there in their mind. Any question from the members who are joining the meeting directly through Zoom? No, Acharya, there is no question. So I would request operator just to show the slides of contact details, if he can show it. Do you have the slide? Yeah. So this is our contact details, email ID and the mobile number. If anybody wants to contact Acharya ji and wanted to learn meditation, they can reach out to us through this details, and definitely we will help you. And I can give you a surety that you will get the best teachings and the learnings from this ideology. Thank you everyone for joining us. We will be back on next Sunday. Acharya ji, we can close now, I think.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Acharya ji. Okay. Namaskar.